Hello and welcome to the first video on the C# Maze Game tutorial. In this series of tutorials I'm going to show you step by step on how to make a console maze game in C#. You're going to be using the console book in these videos because it's a bit easier to do and also it is more fun, I find, because I just love the console. So firstly you need to open up your copy of Visual Studio Express of any version, ideally 2013 or 2010, or if you actually got a couple of grand to spare, you actually buy Visual Studio. But whatever, if you download it, install it, and then start it up. So once you've done that, you're going to create a new project. So make sure Visual C# is selected, and we want console application, and give it a name. Let's call it Maze Game. Enter. And there we go, got our new program. Hopefully you know something on programming. Ideally that'd be amazing. Or if you know C#. But if you don't, then you may get a bit confused. But if you do know any language of some sort, probably not basic, then you should be okay. So here we go, we've got our class. If you don't know, main is our entry point, and that's where everything begins. So, how are we going to start this? Well, we're going to have a main menu class. We're going to have a games class for all our game logic. But as well, we're going to have a bit of graphics in there. When I say graphics, I don't mean proper nice high-res textures. We're just going to be using ASCII art. Yes, ASCII art. ASCII art's great. So I think we should start off by doing this first, because what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple of boxes in this game for our main menu, and also we have one in the game as well. It's as a border. So we're going to do that first. So what we're going to do is create a class for all these boxes. To do that, go to Project, then add a class, or Alt-Shift-C, which is a lot faster. You'll call for that. Make sure class is selected and give it a name. Let's call it, I don't know, shapes, because we can always add more shapes later on. There we go, we've got our new shapes class. Now, first things first, we're going to be using a couple of data types which are not in the standard system namespace, and hopefully it's already included, but if not, we add it in later. Just go at the end and type in using system.drawing. Now, if you don't have that, don't worry, but you just follow it on. But if you have, just either watch it or skip around about 30 seconds or so. Well, if that, 15 seconds. Yeah, so if you haven't got it, go to choose Solution Explorer, right click the references and click Add Reference. A nice little window should pop up, and under Assemblies and Framework, to scroll down to System.Drawing. Now, if that isn't checked, well, mine's not checked and I got it, but just click on it and click OK, and hopefully it should actually include it here in the references thing. So once you've done that, just pop that in there. So what we're going to actually have for the shapes, well, in this, what I'm going to create is going to have two, a box and a dialog box. A box is going to be normal rectangle, and dialog box is going to be the same as a box, but only going to have like an extra line, so we can put to put the title. Now all these are going to have some common properties, such as position, size, and the colours. All of them, to be in fact. So why should we declare them more than once if we're going to have more classes? And then if you add some extra shapes in later on, why should you retype them? Well, you don't. We're going to use a base class, or what we're going to actually call it is inheritance. So our different shape classes are going to inherit everything from a base class. And this base class is going to be shapes. So firstly, we actually need to declare this shapes class as public, so we can actually access it. And then in there, we're going to need to find our variables. So we can make them all public. Point. We're going to do position first, I should say. Position. Now we can just leave it like that, or we could put get and set. Now, if you're not a C# person, or I don't know if any other languages do it. I know C and C++ doesn't do it, but yeah, I have no idea about the others. And what this does is it's a bit for shorthand thing. If you know this, just skip ahead a bit. What this is doing is it's doing quite about a couple of lines of code in one line. Because instead of doing that, what we could do is private point, I'll call it P, like that, declare point, and then we could do public points P, capital P. And in here, this is really good, this is, because it allows us to control our variables. But get return P and set P equals value. Because what we can do is, if we need to check whenever a variable is being requested a value or it's actually been set, we can actually do some stuff on it. So let's say you wanted this point of a variable to have a minimum value, for example. Well, this is point. Let's call it making it int, an integer, int. Let's say p needs to be a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 3. So you could put an if statement somewhere in your code, or you could actually just do it in here. Just do like if value is greater than 0 and value is less than 3, then you can then set p to value. So it allows you to control variables, and the same for the get. It gives you big control. I don't think we'll be using this in our code, but it's a handy tip to use. So let's continue. So next is this, we need to set the size of the shape. So public size, and let's call it shape size because size is already defined there. And so again get set. And then last off is just some colors. So public console color. All colors in the console are in the console color, and it's actually an enum. Console color, foreground color. I am English. I'm not going to do the nasty American spelling by forgetting letters. U, come on, put a U in it for God's sake. Yeah. So get set, and same for background color, console color, background color. There we go. That's how variables done. And also, we need to actually set these variables when we create a shape. And of course, a function will come nicely in here, and and those come in nicely. So we're going to use one. So we're going to this shapes could have different many different events of creating when not being created. So we need to allow our create method to be overwritten, and to do this it's easy. That's defined as usual. Public void create, put our parameters in there, pass size, f color, this could be color, like so, and let's just assign them pass shape size, focus f color, b color. Now there we go. I've forgotten to do something. Yeah, I haven't. So this has created our our what do you call it, create function. But we need to, as I said earlier, other shapes may need to do different things than apart from just declare these couple of variables. Assign these couple of variables. So you need to allow them to override it if necessary. To do that, we need to do one thing. After the public, put in virtual. That allow us to change the actual body of the function if we need to. So I also need to do the same to draw the shape. But of course this one you're not going to do anything because shape's going to have different drawing requirements, if you know what I mean. So public virtual void draw. So there we go, we just defined it there. Right, so that's our base custom. So we can actually make a box shape now. And what we can do is we can do box first. So you're going to need a new class, but I'll do it in the same shapes file. Just underneath the shapes class, create a new class. Public class, let's call it box. Now we're going to inherit it from the shapes class. And to do that, you do a colon, then put shapes. So that's it. You create a class called box, which inherits from shapes. Let's put our faces in there. So, because we've inherited, it's inheriting all the variables and these functions as well. Because a box is just needs those 4 variables, we're just going to keep the create function the same. And also, because we've inherited it, we don't need to actually declare it in there. But draw is different. We actually need to tell it to draw something. So what we're going to do is we're going to override our current draw function. To do that, it's easy. Public. There, we're going to override it. So put in override. And if you press space, you see intelligence pops up, and you can see we've got draw there. Let's just choose that. Delete that, and there we go. Now we can tell it to draw our box. So what do you need to do first? Ideally, to save a bit of performance, you set the colours first. And to do that, easy. We do console for everything to do the console window. Dot foreground colour equals, and because you're inheriting, you can use foreground colour. It's foreground colour. There we go. Save for background colour equals background colour. There we go. Nice. So we're actually now we need to draw the box. So how you can do that? If you know anything about programming, you're probably shouting for loops at the top of your voice. If so, well done. So you just go underneath there, and we need to go through the entire width of the box and the entire height of the box, and we're going to achieve that by doing nested for loops. So if you don't know what for loop is, you probably get it once it's typed up. So for int w for width equals 0, w is less than shape size dot width w plus plus. So that's going to loop for the entire width of the box, and you do the same for the height. For int h equals 0, h is less than shape size dot height h plus plus. Here we go. That's now gone through the entire size of the box. Next, we need to tell the console where to draw, because it's all ASCII. We need to tell it where to draw the character. So to do that, we're going to use console dot set cursor position, and of course it's going to originate from our position, which we defined up here. So it's going to be position dot x. Now we go to add w. If you don't add w, then it's all going to draw in the top left hand corner, which is not good. So we need to tell it to move over 1. Well, not over 1, over set the how many spaces it is from the start. 0, because it's 0 index, we can do it like that. And same for the height, the y position. position.y add h. There you go, that's our position sorted. Now we just need to draw the box. And for this, we're going to use some double pipe symbols. So let's just get straight away. But if we're going to have vertical double pipes and horizontal double pipes, and in order to know which one we're going to use, we're going to actually check where our position is. So we're going to do that. We're going to do if w width equals 0, or width is equal to shape size dot width minus 1, and h is greater than 0 and h is such in shape size dot height minus 1. Then we're going to do console.write. Now for vertical bars, it's alt 186. So let's see what's happening there. We're checking if the width is at 0 or it's shape size minus 1, which is either side of the box. Then it's checking also if h is greater than 0 and h is less than the height minus 1. So the vertical bars will get shown in the top and bottom corners. And if so, draws the vertical bar. Now, to draw the horizontal bars, basically the same. We're just going to do else if w is greater than 0 and w is less than shape size of width minus 1, and h is equal to 0 or h is equal to shape size dot height minus 1. Console.write. Now what we're going to do is checking here is if the width is not at the far left and the far right, otherwise because you don't take the corners. And also if it's greater, if the height is 0 which is at the top of the box, and h is less than the shape size at height minus 1, which is the bottom of the box. So if so, we can draw the horizontal bar. Now you probably already typed in equals, but don't do that. Why, you may ask, is because with equals, if you test it with the equals, there's like a pixel or two space between each one, which is not very nice. So what we can do is we can use an alt character, alt 205, and that won't have any space in whatsoever. And to finish it off, we can put else console.write and put a space in there. Because if we don't put that in there, then there'd be like a black box in the middle. So that should be our box class sorted. So let's test this. So go back to your program file, and then in the main function, just enter there and type in box. Let's call it equals new box. And before I forget, we need to put using system.drawing. Because we're going to do points in that, aren't we? So enter there, put b.create new point. Let's say 5, new size 10 by 10. Oops, I put the wrong thing in there. Now the colours, console color dot, that's per yellow. Console color dot grey. There you go. It's gonna be beautiful. Semicolon. Then just draw it. b.draw. And then console.readline at the end to stop the program from exiting. 2. Let's test it. You can either press the start at the top or press F5. Hopefully we got a box, and yes we have, and as you see, we got a nice box. But those empty corners don't look nice, do they? Well, guess what? There's counters for that, and I think we should add them in. So close that and go back to your shapes class. And what we can do is you need to add some more conditions. Check whether it's in the corners. So before the vertical bar bits, we're going to put if w equals 0 and h equals 0. So if it's in the top left hand corner, we're going to do console dot write. Now we need one for the left hand corner, and the alt code for that is alt 201. So there you go. That's our one corner done. Just for the other one. So underneath that, put else if w equals shape size dot width -1 and h equals 0. So we're going to do the top right hand corner now. Console dot write, and that code is alt, that's base, is alt, oh, god damn it, alt 187, no, 187. Okay, that's a nice right hand corner. So then it's just the bottom two to do now. So else if w equals 0 and h is equal to shape size dot height -1. Then we need to draw the bottom left one. So console dot write, and the alt code for this one is, let me just find it, alt 200. And last but not least, the bottom right hand corner one. Else if w equals shape size dot width -1 and h equals shape size dot height -1, console dot write. Then the alt code for that little one is alt 188. And just change that one for the vertical bars to else if. So there we go. Now that should draw our corners on. Let's compile it. F5. And there we go. We got our nice little corners. Beautiful. So that actually concludes this first video, because it's a quite lengthy one. And in the next video we'll do the dialog box, which is a variant of the shapes box. So thanks for watching. See you next time.